For the first time in a long while, I'm starting to feel out of my depths. I don't really know what to do, and it's frustrating me. My talk isn't working. I have to be smart about things, figure stuff out. I'm not made for that.
Kid turned himself in. I can't confirm it, but Miss Mablethorne decided to withhold just a teensy tiny little ounce of information from me. Cormac's friend he used to be a werewolf, not a vampire. Getting confused because I guess we're dealing with both of those now. Huh.
I went with Lorelei to the graveyard after talking to a woman we talked to before. Can't quite remember her name, but memory problems are a thing for me anyway. She told us to meet with her later, and in the meantime, Lorelei wanted to see someone in the graveyard. Lars Gray, I believe.
I couldn't even talk to Magda right. I don't think she trusts me. I think she just needed a secret off her chest, and we were there. I'm glad to see my family again. Being with tents and carts, music, people. I miss home.
And an angel appeared. We went to the cathedral, so that's where we went. There were a bunch of people. I'll try to get blessings from the angels, and I asked if she could get the color off, and so the bishop called me in. He's kind of scary, I gotta say. The angel tried to get the color off of me. She was nice, but it didn't work. It hurt like hell. My throat's super sore. Nothing happened, and they just told me it was some kind of dark magic, some kind of mockery of Avacyn's symbol. I really want to know who put this on me, but I'm not getting any answers for now, I think.
The whole werewolf thing, it's like, oh, hey, look, we found the werewolf. Now somebody else could take care of it, kill the werewolf, or even we could help. It's a little different with vampires. Went to a priest, had them take care of keeping them contained. Just in case they were a werewolf, I don't want an entire town of people getting ripped to pieces.
I did not think that, out of all people, Lorelei and I would be speaking with our friend William Flint again. It's a lot to take in. I feel like there's some things in the past that William had once said to me, and in some ways, a lot that came to pass, or what he said, I feel like is right. I didn't know how he would react. I knew he wouldn't seem really happy about this conflict with the other vampires. At least I know we informed him. Maybe that's one good thing that I could say that I did, was keep one friend safe after not being able to keep anyone else safe. Not even William's own brother, Nathan. I still think about him sometimes. Him and William, they're both completely different, but you never forget a face or someone's attitude. I could see where William's comment came from. We're probably wondering why, of all people, the two of us, Lorelei and I, have still remained. Maybe at this point, it's fate. When he shook my hand and I felt that grip, that strength, I didn't like the feeling. Whether or not he forgives me for what I did, my sins, I could just still feel his judging eyes on me. I can't contain any of my emotions anymore. It's getting hard. And now there's a sound in the night happening. I don't know what it is, but I'm very concerned.
Come nightfall, somebody decided to sneak their way into a jail cell without a key or a way in, drain all the blood from the poor piece of shit, and now he is dead. Two magically familiar vampire bite marks, but they're totally not vampire bite marks. They could be anything if you were an idiot. I'm getting really tired, and I just want to go, but I feel bad if I just moved on now, so I need a nap.
Those of you who had gone to sleep, everyone except Acrio, who had taken up a patrol near the garrison, are rudely awakened by a tolling bell. It's not from the cathedral, it's more like an alarm bell. It's hasty, stirring everyone in the town from their sleep. Lorelei, still partially tipsy, trying to drink away some of her problems in a vain attempt. Asuriel still in pain, who's barely able to function and move when she does wake up. Cillian outside the city in the Vistani camp, trying to find some sense of peace. The doctor still dealing with this splitting headache from the Geist encounter, something he's never had to deal with before. And Amrita, I think Amrita almost knows instinctually the nature of what is going wrong in the city, even if she doesn't know the specifics. What does everyone do? You don't have to do anything.
No, he would definitely run towards the city. Oh, I can never get an ounce of peace. See you later, Andre. And I'll just run off.
Yeah, Amrita kind of like stares out the window. She had already gone to bed fairly early, but she just like just kind of groans a bit and just like, shit. And goes out the door and down the tavern steps.
There are people mostly looking out their windows. You see candle lights appearing behind the glass, curtains being pulled, just people glancing down the street trying to see what's happening from their angle without getting involved.
Kira's gonna peek out of her room if there's anyone she knows out there, so she'll ask if they know what's going on.
You probably see Amrita bolting, but other than that, she doesn't seem to have any interest in discussing what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, no, she's just like already probably halfway gone, not even noticing Asuriel's presence.
And like, okay. She'll just go back into her room, get a little more dressed, because she hadn't taken off a lot except her cloak, and is gonna stumble through the streets after Amrita.
It's dark by now, right?
Yeah, this is midnight or later.
Yeah,
Or
Lorelei is gonna head out and like cast light on a dagger to like light her way as she runs, not even bothering to grab a candle or anything.
Running with
Stagger a little bit.
Is very wise.
Holding it like down.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Acrio was the first on the scene, having witnessed Dragomir basically assaulting one of his own guards, the one who was supposed to have been in charge of watching the cells when it was finally discovered. The scene of just sanguine slaughter, Ewan's body just completely drained. It looks like every ounce of blood is on the floor and on the walls, and this message scrawled just stating one of yours for one of ours. And it's not on the exterior wall, as if, from the inside of the cell you would see it. It's the opposite side, from everyone's perspective before Acrio was able to enter, you couldn't even see this message, which strikes him as being odd.
Okay, so wall door. It's written on this wall on the inside.
So, if this were the exterior of the building, and you've got the cells all separated, and you came in from the hallway this direction, looking at it from this direction on this, you couldn't see it. It's on this wall, but inside the cell. So to really see it, you'd have to be either inside the cell or outside the building to even view it.
Okay. We're running on like half a cylinder right now, so I'll stand there a good few minutes. See if somebody else shows up. And if not, I'll talk to the guard captain.
Amrita is incredibly fast, especially when she needs to push herself. She'd be the first one to arrive. Cillian probably not far behind. He's also very swift. But Amrita's the first to kind of push her way through the guards and the people in the area who have come out of their houses, women wrapped in blankets trying to just get an observation from their doorsteps, men who have grabbed like tools and pitchfork type things, several with torches, just trying to get closer and understand what's happening if there's a threat, as well as a large portion of the militia that have assembled with Cathars, many of whom who had already been stationed at the garrison at Acrio and the Brother Valentin's request.
Look at Amrita before she goes in. Just kid's dead.
She shoves like past the guards or anything. She's like out of the way. It's like, what happened? And like stops and like stares, and like the smell of blood, I imagine, like invades like her nose, and like her eyes just kind of like widen, and she's able to see the body, right?
Mm-hmm. And when you ask what happened, Dragomir just kind of looks at the guard, who's kind of picking himself up off the ground, and Dragomir's just like, drunken fools don't know how to do their fucking job.
And you're just like, she clenches her fist, and she's really just like walks over to Dragomir and just kind of like stares down at like the captain. Should have kept better track of your men.
He just kind of scoffs, looking over at the other guard.
I'm going to
When she kind of like pokes her head, like when she kind of like pokes her head like near where like the body's at, does it like like can she like indicate or able to like smell like another like person per se that's like been in there, or like a specific
Make a
scent?
perception check, and you do have advantage with your nostrils.
Okay.
And what was Acrio doing?
I want to see if that fucking guard captain motherfucking lying to us.
You don't get the impression that he's trying to be deceptive about anything. Most of all, he's filled with more rage than any of the rest of you. Like, Acrio is tired and obviously frustrated, and clearly Amrita is pissed off as well, but Dragomir gives off a sense of being like legitimately enraged by everything that's occurred this night, and the negligence seemingly of his one of his soldiers.
Oh, is Dragomir the third werewolf?
Amrita, as you're kind of like peeking into the cell, you see the pale and eviscerated body of Ewan kind of slumped against a wall on one of the pallets. You obviously also see the two puncture marks on his neck, just precisely at the jugular to bleed everything from him. There's blood all down his neck and chest and the floor. You do smell several others. It's difficult because there's so many people crowding around right now. Obviously, the most obvious you can smell are Acrio, Dragomir. There's a bunch of other men. You, with a 19, you could probably also detect the scent of Brother Valentin, just very lightly in this place. And you would also detect what appears to be a faint werewolf smell that's not coming from Ewan. It's different. Like, you recognize him, obviously, but there's another, and it does smell like a werewolf. But it's not so close as everyone else in this room. It's very faint.
Like it's outside, probably.
Potentially.
She kind of just like kneels down near where like the body's at and just stares at like his neck and just like closes like her eyes briefly and just like and like just begins to just like speak in the angelic tongue and just like, I hope wherever your soul goes now that it's able to rest and that you did not suffer whatever pain that you went through, my friend.
Cillian is only stopped briefly at the gates of the wall. They recognize him well enough, although they make a conspicuous note of his comings and goings before he is allowed back in the city. Arriving at the garrison,
I sort of turn to look around, see if Reagan is anywhere close. Please tell me you got something. Please tell me.
You kind of feel the presence, but it's far away. And what specifically are you asking about?
He said he would follow Brother Valentin.
Right.
To keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't get any reply about that.
Sure. Okay, he would try anyway, and then just rush towards the garrison.
Mm-hmm. As you're rounding one of the corners, you can see pale grayish light kind of illuminating as Lorelei also rushes around carrying a dagger that's illuminating her path. Just dark cloak and hood trailing behind her.
Looks intimidating. I like the look. What the fuck's going on?
You know as much as I do. I have no idea.
Alright. That doesn't sound good. And we'll move towards the garrison, I guess.
The doctor being awoken by what is very obviously an alarm in the city, how does he react to that? Is it guard business and nothing he needs to worry about, or does curiosity get the better of him?
How late is it?
It's pretty close to midnight.
I think out of curiosity, he would probably check it out. Like, he doesn't really plan on getting involved, and he does take his time making sure that everything, his clothes are neat and everything. But he does pocket, well, not pocket, but he has in his coat like the means to store like scalpels and syringes and stuff like that to keep it concealed. And so we'll do that.
Does he bring his full medical bag, or does he leave that and just take a few hidden items?
Just in case that he needs it, he will bring it as well.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah, pretty much.
The last time you were awoken at this hour by alarm bells like this, it distinctly reminds you of the night of the uprising and the night the burgomaster was overthrown and the veiled cult was expelled.
Yeah. Question: for how long has he been resting?
Enough that you would get a short rest.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, because then I'll definitely do that.
Sure.
Yeah, he'll just ignite a match, strike it, and kind of get his pipe going before heading out and seeing what's going on.
You also see a number of people on the threshold of their doors, kind of looking down the street, trying to see which way the guards are going. People staring out their windows and that sort of thing. Most, like you, are not really actively getting involved, but curiosity has been piqued within the town.
Okay.
Lorelei and Cillian, you're kind of blocked almost by Cathars and other guards who have assembled at the garrison, trying to just cordon off the area. You're kind of pushed with a bunch of the other onlookers and townsfolk who want to know what's going on but can't really get a good vantage point because there are too many bodies already in this space.
Or, excuse me, we're with a Cathar named Acrio. Have you seen him close by? We need to speak to him immediately.
The newcomer, he's inside, I think. I saw him.
Would you allow us? We're very heavily involved.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, come on.
Sure. Oh, everything is breaking.
No.
Say, all right, fine. I mean, we can't let you into the scene of it, but we'll just follow me, and he'll turn to one of the yards. Get the Cathar, bring him out here, and the other guard will rush off, momentarily appearing behind Acrio, sword on the pommel of his, or hand on the pommel of his sword. Sorry, sir. There's someone out here to speak to you, Vistani, I think. Well, with the... you know who he is.
Thanks. Just go back. I'll meet up with them. He hobbles on outside.
What does Amrita do in that time?
Does it look like that the corpse's eyes, like the lids, are not closed at all?
They would actually be.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to say if they weren't like closed, she was gonna like close the lids, but yeah, she just like stands and walks over and like looks over at Dragomir. Better get a priest so you can give this man at least a decent burial. If your men couldn't even keep him safe in here.
Had about enough of your attitude. We all see what's gone down.
I hope you can just live with the fact now you have an innocent man's blood on your hands. As she turns,
I got all kinds of men's blood on my hands. You want to help or not?
Where your men failed? Sure.
Acrio makes his way outside and quickly sees Lorelei and Cillian waiting.
What's up, and is there anything we can do to help?
I mean, if any of you can bring back a dead kid, sure, you can help.
What?
Yeah, kid's dead.
Fuck.
Somebody got to him, drained the blood, spit it out on the floor. Pretty clean, but it's a lot of blood. It's a goddamn mess.
Cillian detaches and goes and listens in. See if there's any echo left that's still around here somewhere. Viewing.
Yeah. Make an Arcana check for that, actually.
Sure.
What you get is it's almost like a sound of struggle. There's an echo of Ewan, but there's also snarling and barking, a feral spirit, something savage that is struggling with his echo at the same time.
I sort of whisper into, they would probably hear, but I think there's a difference of him talking to the guys and talking in real life. So he sort of uses that voice, just speaks out into the ether almost, because he knows he probably can't reach him right now, but he just, I'm sorry, Ewan. You didn't do it. You don't deserve this. Cormac said he was sorry. And that's all he says.
Dr. Engel, you also are hit with this wall of militia, soldiers, and Cathars around the garrison. But one of them seems to recognize you. You're a doctor, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Van Stein hasn't been We need a doctor. Come on.
What's the matter?
Well, if he's dead, there's no bringing him back, but just for cleanup, I guess.
If you want me to do an autopsy, I can do that, but you will have to do the cleaning up.
Right, but just we gotta have somebody look at it before we touch everything.
Right. Very fair. Leads the way.
He died
And he
from
will kind
dying.
of help part the crowd and the other soldiers. The three of you kind of talking off to the side, and then Amrita inside. You all see as the well-dressed doctor with his fine mustache is led through with his leather bag. Inside the cell, you're hit with the smell of blood, that kind of metallic tinge in the air. There is a lot of it, and you are directed to the body of a young man slumped against a wall. As Amrita has observed, the eyes are closed, and the first thing that you spot are the 2 puncture marks on the neck where his head's kind of like leaned over.
Right. Apart from that, he would kind of look at the scene, take in with his expertise, like his special expertise. Does it seem like this was, someone tried to make a mess? Did someone try to, send a message? Any of that sort of thing he would kind of look for.
How much does he observe the scene versus the body?
He would probably look at, the body first, spotting the puncture mark, kind of, gleaming that if there are for now no obvious, like if the dude is not disemboweled or some shit, then he'll just, look at the scene first, pretty much just disregard the body for now and just kind of take in everything else because it's relatively undisturbed right now.
Yeah, the only person who has been in the cell is Acrio, which you wouldn't know that specifically, although it does look relatively untouched. Make a medicine check and then also an investigation check.
Okay.
After your observation of the body, you do, of course, immediately see the message on the wall smeared in blood.
Okay, medicine.
Oh, that's a medicine-y boy.
Ooh, medicinal.
And investigation, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So, a couple things you get about the body. Firstly, obviously, 2 puncture wounds. Observing it, he has been completely sanguinated. Blood complete drained from his body, as if, the way you would hang up a deer and just drain it of the blood. It doesn't appear as though anything has really drank the blood, which you would suspect given the wounds. It's more like he has been bled dry, and the blood specifically left in the room. Just judging by the amount of it versus his size and frame, it seems as though most of his blood, if not all of it, is in the room. It's been several hours since his body entered the state of death. From what you can tell, like, the signs of rigor mortis are already setting in. Like, he's fairly stiff, so he went like this unobserved for some hours before someone finally came upon it, which seems odd given the amount of commotion that seems to be here at this point and the amount of guards you've seen. With a 27, you would also have an indication that he was unconscious at the time of his death.
So he was surprised, most likely.
Potentially.
Can you, when you say unconscious, I don't reckon this will be possible without an autopsy, but could you, could Dr. Engel determine if he was like, if something was given to him that made him fall asleep, if he was drugged, for example, or poisoned?
I think that would require an internal autopsy. physically, he's covered in so much blood, it's impossible to tell if he was like hit with some kind of poison or anything. If so, it had all been washed away with his own blood, so you're going to need to open him up before you can determine anything like that.
Yeah, then he would probably just kind of, after taking all of this on, who was the person? I assume the guard that led me here is still standing around.
He probably would have exited, but Dragomir, you would recognize the captain of the guard is still lingering in this area around the scene.
What was the name of the dude? Dragomir?
Dragomir, yeah.
Yeah, then he would probably just kind of look at him. Just who was guarding this man at the time?
Fucking idiot. Bogged in here. He's just probably drunk. Not uncommon.
Where is this man now?
See, I've got half a mind to lock him in one of these other cells, but he's down the hall.
Right. Can you bring him here, please?
Sure. And while the captain's going to do that, what are the rest of you all endeavoring?
I have a priest to go beat the shit out of, but that can wait till later.
Where's Asuriel?
It's a good question. I thought you were going back to sleep.
No, she went to follow Amrita.
Oh, okay, then yeah, you would be here also. You would have probably arrived not long after.
Where did you come from?
She's
My bad. I thought you had gone back to
manifesting
sleep
out
for
of
some
the
reason.
wall.
Yeah.
She's like, nobody noticed her arriving, so she's just kind of hanging back and looking around.
Back into the room alone. I'm gonna... Actually, no, not back into the room. I'm gonna loop around and look into the cell.
Exterior?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into the cell through the window. Kind of see if I can line up a site of where that text could be read from.
Anybody else going with Acrio or trying to make their way back into the prison and garrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amrita is like awkwardly still in the room, just watches as the captain of the guard walks down the hall, forgetting for a moment that this doctor's there, just groans and is clearly pissed.
If Acrio's going outside, Asuriel's following him.
Mm-hmm. So
if they're
was
not gonna
outside
let us
speaking with
in,
Lorelei, and
yeah, if they're not gonna let us in, then Lorelei will go with Acrio as well.
you can be in the building, but probably they'll hold you back from the cell itself.
I'll go with Acrio. Probably more useful there.
Hello. Yeah, he's just trudging along over to the window. They wrote a message on the wall, kind of points through the window at the blood splatter.
The window is small, probably 2 foot by 1.5 feet. Iron barred, high up, so you almost have to stand on your toes to even look through it. As you do, you can see the message scrawled on the wall. It's dark. There's a little bit of candlelight inside and burning torches, so you can make it out, but it is difficult. You'd have to almost be looking for it.
Did Cillian come with us?
Oh yeah, sure. But he's kind of distant. He's you can lead him along and you can listen, but he's sort of somewhere else with his head.
Lorelei goes up to him and clicks her fingers in front of his face, course of it, Cillian. Back with
Sure.
it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
There still, and he was true. We're good. Sorry, I'm here.
I need you to climb around and see where you can read that message from. See if it's targeted at someone.
So here, this is rather specific. The garrison sits basically up against the wall of the city, so you're in an alley between the exterior wall of the city and the back of the garrison.
Okay.
There's not really any buildings.
There's nothing back there? Okay.
Not really.
If somebody
Although you
was
can-
on top of the wall, could they look down into the cell and see that?
Potentially. If Cillian wants to climb the wall and take a look at that, he could.
Feel like it.
Sure, I'll climb.
Okay, grab Cillian, throw him up.
Roosties.
Yes. So you make an acrobatics check with advantage because you are being assisted with a boost.
Yeet.
The tops of the walls have like a fair amount of spikes and other sorts of. There are areas where there's like broken glass and shit on it that's been left specifically to prevent people climbing over it, but you can climb up well enough and avoid kind of holding on to a few of the wooden spikes. From your angle, like you'd have to like peek down, but if you were crouched on the wall, you could see through that window well enough to get a view of the message. And also, everyone else who is outside can make an investigation check or survival if you prefer.
That's exactly what I was about to.
I would like to do survival because I'm much better at that.
Acrio, you do have disadvantage because you have a level of exhaustion.
I thought about that.
Acrio, the floor here is made out of floor.
I'll be outside here in a little bit, but I'm like still in here just like...
You snooping.
Yeah.
I'm spending an inspiration to re-roll that. Ha! Fuck you.
Ah, that's insight. But it's the same thing.
The modifier's still the same, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, if you use your inspiration to do that, that's fine. Then you would be the only one who spots, kind of probably pushing everyone back as soon as you do, realizing you've been stepping on a set of rather large paw prints.
Oh
shit.
We're not even involved in this. This seems like a werewolf versus vampire kind of thing. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I need a nap.
I'm scared. Can anyone help me down?
Yeah, just jump
Jump, we'll catch
you.
you.
I can't.
I'm a very trustworthy person, but I don't trust you fuckers to do this. Okay. And I sort of very gingerly make my way down to a wall.
If I were to cast hinder on someone, if I were to cast hinder on someone falling, would it slow them falling?
No, it would not. Not in the slightest.
Force movement.
It might hinder him from being able to climb down. It'd be like a foot per minute. But no, once you're hanging off the wall, there's not it's maybe a 4 to 5 foot drop from your feet, so it's not horrible, but it's not comfortable either.
And can you repeat if I saw the message or not? Because I cut out.
Yes, you did.
What happened?
You did,
right.
Yes.
But it's dark, right? You'd have to have like good eyes.
You'd have to have very keen eyesight, or else the inside would have to be illuminated. But most likely, you would think you'd have to have a way to see through the dark.
Oh, like dark vision, maybe.
Something like that would probably be useful.
Like eyes of a werewolf, maybe.
Or a vampire. You don't know.
All right. So
Creatures of the night.
I don't know.
Lightly tap Lorelei's foot to get her to move it out of the way, and then point to the paw print right under her foot.
Shit.
Oh,
her own
fucking blind,
illuminated dagger is the only thing that's casting light in this space.
Stuart's gonna look at that and ask her, do you think it could be the butcher, maybe?
Well, we don't know any other werewolves right now, so...
Amrita's good at tracking. She might be able to figure out where this is going.
Okay. So right now, I've got it broken down to this. The werewolves killed a thrall of the vampires. Now the vampires killed one of the innocent little pups. So I'm pretty sure he's a werewolf at this point. Now the werewolves are probably going to be pissed because they saw that message. Now the werewolves are going to try and kill one of the fucking vampires. And a bunch
in our hands.
And a bunch of humans are stuck in the middle, possibly.
Sure. All the while, there's a power vacuum in the city.
I don't know about you guys, but I am in no shape to fight them.
Me neither.
Oh yeah, let's definitely not fight. Call
We need to figure
Amrita.
out.
Follow the tracks.
Yeah, Lorelei will circle around to go get Amrita.
I have to see someone to do message, right?
Oh,
You do not. You just have to know their general direction.
two
Okay.
werewolves,
then-
butchers. It might be both of them.
Then I use message towards Amrita. Found a clue. Need a tracker. Back of the garrison. And you hear this in like this little kid's voice.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
It's very creepy.
Amrita
You
gets
just
like a
use
more.
like random dead people's voices.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
It's
No.
not even their
Look.
voices, it's random dead people deliver
Oh.
messages.
Amrita's just like,
She
somebody's
gets another-
speaking to me, man.
She kind of gets another pissed off look. Like she has like an inkling of who is doing this. It's like, but like stares like down the hallway at like Dragomir, like waiting
So-
for the dude to come back.
Yeah, as you
sniffing.
are getting this message in your head, and it's almost in your ear. You hear it whispered externally. You hear the footsteps of Dragomir returning. The other shorter, stockier man, also dressed in armor, but not quite as high quality as the captain, staggering behind him. And as he's getting closer, Amrita, you can hear uneven footsteps, and then suddenly you and the doctor both can hear as somebody, it sounds like they just double over against the wall and vomit. And then Dragomir's just like, you son of a bitch, just drags the guy forward
Okay.
as he's just
Question.
wiping his mouth, kind of.
Question. I hope for his sake he didn't vomit at the crime scene.
No, he's coming from
Okay.
down the other hallway.
Okay,
No,
just
you guys are
checking.
outside the
Yeah.
cell.
Okay. The doctor's just looking, doesn't really say anything, but his expression is just like
Both
lovely.
hit with the smell
Uh,
of it.
yeah.
Amrita more so than the doctor, but he's got a fairly acute senses for the anatomy.
Just like another internal, like, outwardly groan and everything, just agitation.
The doctor will just wait till they are basically arrived in front of the cell. The two.
Mhm.
the two
I mean,
guys.
that's like right around the corner.
Okay.
And then he just drags him into sight.
Oh, okay. So you must be the individual in charge of keeping tabs on this man. Is that correct?
Just the cells tonight.
Alright. Could you try to turn away from me? You do reek of vomit. It is quite disgusting.
He wipes his mouth. He doesn't really turn away. That's feel like shit. All right. I don't know what happened. I wasn't even drinking tonight. I don't know.
When you say feel like shit, how come? Can you elaborate a bit?
Head. Something's up with my stomach. It's not the blood.
Did you eat anything unusual? Did you cut yourself? Anything out of the ordinary? And think hard.
Fish for dinner. Don't usually have that. Seemed fine.
Were you feeling worse afterwards, or was it already before the fish?
Not a thing. I had a few drinks, obviously. A little bit of as I was on post. Just kind of like pulls out a flask, but nothing to. Dragomir's just staring down at this guy, like piercing daggers into him.
Does he look like he's telling the truth? Because Amrita's just kind of eyeing him, watching him as he speaks.
The doctor would probably do the same, just kind of.
Yeah, you can both make insight checks.
Cool.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
I'm too angry. Yeah, she's pissed.
I'm
man,
just
about
not
this,
interested. He doesn't give
Yeah,
a fuck.
he seems a little woozy and out of it, but he also just throw up in the hall. You believe he had fish for dinner and didn't necessarily feel bad after it is the most you can tell for sure.
Yeah, so probably something with the drinks. With his equipment that he has in his bag, could the doctor check this guy if he has been poisoned or drugged in any way, form, or shape?
Do you actually have do you have a poisoner's kit? I know you're proficient, but do you actually have one in your inventory?
Yeah. I should have it in my inventory.
Then yes, you can make a medicine check with your poisoner's kit proficiency on top.
Okay. There will be the proficiency of the poisonous on top of that.
Would also be 25. He kind of like recoils somewhat as you go to do this examination, kind of impromptu. But
then
you smell a vague sense of alcohol on his breath, but not even that much. He still kind of reeks somewhat, but with a 25, with his symptoms, the nausea, the way he claims to be feeling, even though he's not specific, and you get with your kit, you have the sense that he was chloroformed.
Okay. So when you say he's been chloroformed, would the doctor know? Because chloroform is usually you get hit with it and you're fucking out of it. You're just is there a way to just kind of tamper with, like, dose it in such a way that the victim would just have like impeded senses, for example, like something along those lines, or would it vary?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be hit with it pretty good to pass out. Small doses, it just kind of like induces dizziness and other symptoms, but it does seem as though he probably had enough to be passed out for a little while.
Okay. Dr. Jen looks just like, I want you to think about this very, very hard. Do you remember by chance falling asleep, or was there a moment where you lack any form of concise memory? You can't really recall it. And I'm saying this for your own sake. You should be as honest as possible if you want to keep what little dignity and job you have left.
He glances up at Dragomir and then Amrita, who's been staring intensely down at him, and back at the doctor. I had dinner. I came in from a shift, sat down, had a few swigs. The priest came in to do the confession or whatever with Ewan, and I wasn't really paying attention to that. I just kind of conked out, I guess, after that.
Just after you conked out, or how you say it, what is the next thing you will remember?
The captain beating the shit out of me. I guess I can't blame him. Obviously,
that does check out. As he kind of just immediately doesn't really pay any attention to this man anymore, just kind of looks at the guard.
Bogdan's just looking around confused, like, wait, what?
It would appear that someone has knocked out your guardsman, my dear captain of the guard. He seems to have been exposed to chloroform. And that does check out with the victim, who also appeared to have been unconscious. So I'm led to believe that the chloroform was set off maybe directly in the cell, and this unfortunate fellow was just caught in the crossfire, or it was placed deliberately to knock the both of them out.
Shite. That's more than I was expecting.
Do you know of anyone in the city who has knowledge of such chemical processes?
Stein might. We don't really have
I don't think so. I mean, yes, he knows how to do it, but he has no stake in this.
We haven't got an alchemist per se. Ewan himself was our only herbal salesman. If they did, it would have to be some kind of something they studied themselves, didn't make public.
Interesting.
To determine more, I will have to eventually do the autopsy. Do you have a room for that?
We'll make one.
Right. And I hope you are aware that I will be paid in full. I will not do this for free.
Out of the city coffers. It's not my bill to pay.
That is none of my business as long as I get paid.
As you both mutually agree that it's not your business whose money changes hands. Amrita, you still have kind of that lingering voice of childlike message in your head about needing a tracker outside the building.
And she just stares over at the captain of the guard again and just like, once this doctor here perhaps does the autopsy, at least give this decent herbalist a burial.
That's for the church to decide, not me.
I suppose you're correct. I'm gonna go see if I can find something much more useful than what's happened here. And she just kind of like turns to like leave and briefly like looks at like this doctor and everything. It's like seem to be running into each other a lot, coincidentally.
Certainly seems that way. I don't know if it is you, but problems seem to cling to your medical. I don't know what is going on here. I'm doing just his autopsy, but if you would like to fill me in, perhaps seek me out afterwards, once I've cut up this man.
She kind of looks like out of curiosity, but says nothing, and just like quickly like goes out to where the others are at.
The captain will probably just look over the scene and be like, turn to the doctor. We're gonna need a couple hours to get everything cleaned up and make a room ready. We'll call you in the morning.
As he kind of just hears that, there's almost just this look of disappointment, like that these people seem to be incapable of, providing a room in time, in an adequate, timely manner for him. But eventually, if he still sees Amrita, he would probably move after her. Just, excuse me, Fräulein. I think with how these people operate, I do have some time on my hands, so if you don't mind me tagging along, I will do that. Be right back, my food is just arriving.
Okay, it's like...
I feel like
The doctor's like, I have a moment to follow
I was
you
like-
after I get this snack.
Yeah, I can...
Outside, I say to Lorelei,
Second tip.
Yeah. Alright, go, Cillian. Go.
That's cool.
We're just joking and you're actually trying to say
Online
something.
and stuff.
Yeah, go, please.
If we can actually find this werewolf, please let me do the talking. I have an idea.
What's your idea?
I want to pretend to be on their side, so they tell their story. Why we're investigating so harshly to find them. let them know we're with them.
That's
They might confide in us. Of course, I live on the edge all the time.
I think they know I might have visited a second time.
Just be careful. Okay?
And if not, they're going to be aggressive anyway. They might not kill us if we take this route.
Maybe they don't want to kill us. We're a neutral party in this, but still, if you're sure.
I sort of look at the moon. I'm an idiot.
The hazy area where the moon would be.
Yeah.
There's no talking to this one right now. It's let's just pocket it and use it later.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider the moon at that point either.
Yeah, as like this like strange doctor like seems to be accompanying like behind Amrita and everything. It's just like doesn't matter to me at this point. I don't know a lot of these people, but so not really. Might seem like whatever. That's an impressive skill you seem to have to have figured that out so quickly.
I am a professor of medicine, so it would be highly shameful if I weren't skilled. Anyway, let's see what we can find out. Where are we headed?
I'm about to look over some tracks and figure out where there might be extra trouble in this city. And that's all she says. She doesn't say how, like, she knows that information and just, like, kind of tries to, like, sense where the others might be.
Well, you were informed it was behind the building, so easy
yeah.
enough to kind of push your way past the other onlooking guards and
Using your
a
senses.
couple Cathars.
Using your
I
senses.
forgot, okay?
You
Quiet.
can see a bright
What?
yellow Cathar standing, waving at you to come over here. Using
Alright.
your eyesight
Alright.
senses.
Boy, I'm gonna come to your house and beat you up. All right.
Just
Okay.
hear her, get over here.
Get over here.
But yeah, I imagine like the others, like they see like, yeah, the two of us, and it's just like,
Idiot 1 and idiot 2.
Yeah, and you can
Doing
see
that.
Acrio motioning for you from around the side of the building to kind of go between the exterior wall of the city and the backside of the garrison itself.
Looks at him, Rita. Werewolf friend's dead. Looks like he had some friends coming to pick him up.
drug him. He was drugged, and so was that guard. So that this doctor found out.
Yeah, the doctor's just like standing there, just like hearing like werewolf, and he's just like, all right, interesting, good to know.
Yeah, and Marita just like, she just kind of just refrains. It's like, what did you guys find? Cillian said something about
Well,
a clue. I
Big
assume
ass
it's
paw
you.
print.
Point at the tracks.
And talking about biggest paw prints, anyone have any silver? Hard to come by. I don't have anything.
Lorelei like shakes and like
We know.
reaches into her pack and winces as she pulls out a pair of silver manacles.
That's very specific.
She
Yeah,
feels, yeah,
she looks at
feels
she looks
eyes
at
are on
Amrita.
her.
Repellum gave them to me before he went.
Cool. Anyway, we're hunting down a werewolf.
Yes. Tracker.
Tracks.
Amrita says nothing. She just like inhales deeply and like stares like away from Lorelei and like stares at Cillian and like kneels down to where he points where the boot tracks are and just like just doesn't even stare at Lorelei at all. Just focuses on like her thing. And Amrita also goes ahead and like lifts up to where this is like the second time that the doctor would also notice like that weird third unseeing eye. He's already seen it at this point, so it's just like, yeah, she's going to
Do you
just
really
kind of
think
look over
that's
the tracks.
what eyes?
Asuriel is staring.
One more joke from you or any eye puns, I swear to add.
Hey, play nice.
I see your point, Amrita. We won't make any more eye jokes.
A man has
Doctor
been
is in the
fucking
process
murdered,
of
and none of you are
training.
taking this
Doesn't even post
seriously.
jokes.
And she slams her fist into the ground and like stands and stares at everyone, clearly just on edge and pissed about this. You can't fucking be quiet so I can figure out tracking. And if more people die, I'm tired of this.
Well, more people, but continue.
Asuriel has done nothing wrong, but she's hiding behind Lorelei anyway.
Lorelei trying to hide behind Amrita, or Asuriel trying to hide behind.
Just going in circles, fucking
Yeah.
interstellar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Knowing like Amrita though, like Lorelei can see like it's bad on the emotions and everything, and like
Lorelei puts the
these group of
manacles
people.
away.
These group of people are not making it any better with the stuff, and she's gonna go focus back on the tracks quickly as possible.
This being the final night of the full moon cycle, and you're having to control your own internal transformation, is also not adding to the ease of this. You can make either a survival check or a perception check with advantage.
They're both the same, so.
So you can. The problem is the amount of foot traffic there has been back here before the tracks were discovered. It's difficult to ascertain anything other than the one that they found for a little while. Eventually, you do find a couple other sets of footprints in kind of this dirt, but they're bare human footprints that kind of lead around the backside of the garrison in the dirt. And then once that wolf track has been spotted, you can't find anything else leading away from it.
Damn it! And she just like freaking yells in like anguish, and it's just like, no, there's been too many footprints here.
No,
The evidence has been tampered with.
While she was investigating, I sort of lean close to Lorelei and say, could you figure out like a hand motion or anything when I should actually shut the fuck up in front of her? Because that reminded me of my mom, and it's not good.
Like that? Like just
Sure.
an X motion?
Mm-hmm.
Well, X motion when you should
Rightly,
actually keep your mouth shut.
I'm rightly of the opinion to always laugh through the pain, but she clearly isn't. So keep me in track, okay?
We're all tired. She'll understand later. It's not your fault.
Anyway, tracks. Does it go werewolf human foot or werewolf human boot?
It looks like, from what Emery can point out, there is just a couple bare human prints in kind of the dirt behind the building leading toward where you guys have been walking around. There's tons of boot prints everywhere where you guys have been, because you've just been traipsing around the place. And then you can see the one shape of the one very large paw print. But past that, there's no evidence of tracks going either direction.
Okay.
Is there any way she can at least try to see if she can detect that like same like werewolf presence as if she was in like the jail cell still, or no?
Yeah, you can definitely smell the same thing out here. You don't have to roll for that. It's very obvious that it's the same thing you had picked up.
But no particular direction.
I've got a weird amount of self-control if this is recent. Do we know if it's recent? Like, when did the murder happen?
That would be a couple hours ago. The murderer is probably long gone.
over the wall.
Flowers. Oh, that's different than I got. Thanks, Doc.
Acrio observes, as he's kind of glancing up. It is quite possible how they have gone over the wall.
Could I
He
do
has
an
seen in the
investigation
past.
check?
Sure, if you want to.
I don't know if I'm actually good at that.
It's very difficult to tell in the stone work and just how old these walls are. In the space you had seen before, it had partially been reinforced with timber, and you had seen claws mark in this. It's certainly possible, but there's no real evidence to indicate it for sure. Process of elimination being what it is, it's the most likely outcome, but
Yeah.
unless they found their way into the cell somehow through the window.
Up and over.
But that's
Puts his back to the wall. Up and over. Come on. Let's
What?
go. Up and over.
If we just
Or-
go to the gate?
I don't know, where's the gate?
I mean, it's a little ways away, but
Oh yeah, cool. I'm still bloody too,
Fine.
so angry and bloody.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm critical.
Is it-
Gate.
Acrio, is it wise for us to be going out there in our current state? We're not exactly at fighting best. Even if
mean,
we're
I
not going to
love-
fight the werewolves, going outside the walls at night is dangerous.
Do you really want to be chasing a werewolf? I mean, I love midnight skinny dipping adventures, but I don't think it's the time.
Wait, what?
oh yeah, and that also would
Ignore
have
him.
been at disadvantage because you're still exhausted, but wouldn't have yielded any different results. Same thing.
2 hours ago. How many hours ago did I send Brother Vincent after to...
Yeah, Valentin. That would have been sundown, so I think it was about 6:30 or 7.
Just... I have to go to the church in the morning. Go to bed.
I mean, I didn't necessarily mean we go to bed right now. I just don't think we should be going outside the wall right now.
Okay.
Are we going to continue our investigation in the middle of the night, Lorelei?
I don't know.
So we go to bed, wait for the morning. I've already skipped out on sleep, so I'm gonna go check the butcher shop. See if anyone's there.
You sure you should
Should go.
be going alone?
You shouldn't go alone. We'll go with you.
No. And then I'll point to anybody that doesn't look like the shit's beat out of them.
Me? Hello.
The doctor looks okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I look. Yeah.
You,
I got
And
it
decent as well.
Yeah,
But
Cillian's
whoever
not
you
bad.
are, you're coming with me. Everybody else needs to rest.
Cyril
Get
definitely
to-
looks relieved.
Get to explain why we go to a butcher in the middle of the night. Here, possible suspect, I assume.
Yeah. We're gonna
Lorelei
go
will
there.
Lorelei will hand the silver manacles to Acrio, like, just in case.
Mm.
Why'd you not give him to me? I mean, it fits my aesthetic. I think if I'd wore him, it
I'm
would
not
work, you know?
putting manacles anywhere near you because I know you'll wear them as an accessory. They have a purpose.
He'll take him. Attach him
Sure,
to his
makes
belt.
sense.
Cillian, I know.
I'm gonna check the other side of the garrison real quick to see if there might be any other clues.
Before you go, and this is serious, did you get a chance to speak with the captain?
I think everybody got a chance to speak with him, but he seems a little angry right now. Just like Hothead next to me.
Was
Nudges
it
his
genuine
head
anger
towards
or
Amrita.
frustration?
Question, what did it seem like? Could the doctor tell retroactively?
About what now?
If it was genuine anger of the captain, or if he, played a little bit of pretend.
I rolled a really high insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, like Acrio.
I think
like,
yeah,
saw it. He was
Acrio
actually
could say
upset.
for sure, for fairly certain that he was not, acting pissed off. He was legitimately pissed off.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
'Cause-
Captain doesn't have much in this. I think he's just upset that somebody fucking died in his prison.
Oh, I don't know about that. After what Cillian and I found.
What did you and Cillian find?
The
He's in
deed
debt
his
to the
house.
vampires.
Yes.
He's in debt to him. And my guess would be he left a door open. I don't realize this would happen, but I definitely think he allowed it.
We'll figure that part out later.
We'll figure that out tomorrow. Because I don't think the guard captain will be going anywhere. We can hunt him down whenever we want. Right now, there's a werewolf on the loose. As for you,
Right.
stranger, we're going to the butchers because they're the werewolves. Fairly certain. 99% sure. 98.
Right, and
I never took mathematics.
right would be as two people attempt to take down a werewolf on our own.
We're not going to take down a werewolf.
Very well.
They're a werewolf outside the city right now. We're going to carouse within their establishment. See if we find
Back to
anything
the lair.
suspicious.
Very well. There's Professor Dr. Joachim Engel, by the way. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, as he just kind of extends his hand and kind of waits for a name.
You have a first name?
Joachim, yes.
You have a last name?
Engel. Are you? I don't want to assume, but did you hit?
I was
your
going to
head,
say,
or-
didn't you give a business card to them earlier in the day? Yeah, like you all.
Acrio's exhausted. He
Acrio's
can't.
Yeah, he's
He doesn't
exhausted,
really-
so he's
His
just like.
disadvantage on memory.
No,
And
no,
the
I-
doctor
I-
will just hand him
No.
a new business card.
No,
like,
no, don't worry. I have one right here. It's just I can't fucking pronounce any amount of that, so I'm gonna call you Engel and call it a day. Okay, let's go, Engel.
Fair enough.
There was a
Respect
lot
you.
of ands.
It's a very non-Stinsian name.
What?
Very
Say
foreign
you
sounding.
cannot pronounce Joachim?
Yeah, I
Joachim?
yeah, just not gonna
Acrio just having a
attempt it.
phlegm for it.
So,
Angry
as
now.
Amrita is gonna circle around looking for any other clues, Lorelei and Asuriel, both still fairly wounded, being ordered back to the tavern. They can do that or whatever else they want, and Acrio, Cillian, and the doctor heading to the butcher's shop. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Lorelei will just kind of herd Asuriel back to the tavern with her.
Oh,
Like,
Cillian,
we're
you're not
fucks,
dying?
let's go.
No, he looks beat up a little bit, but he's not in
Oh,
he's not physically bleeding.
great.
And I'm ready to die.
There's no.
All right.
By the way,
away we
Doctor.
go.
Does this look bad? And I lift up my entire shirt and flex a little bit.
There's like this greenish purple splotch of bruising all over his ribs.
It does seem like a bruise, but I can take a look at it later to make sure that the ribs are not broken.
Sure. Shirt down again.
Yeah, he is just disregarding any shenanigans. It's like,
Okay.
doesn't humor the man.
Amrita, give me an investigation check.
Let's go. All right. Can I use my inspiration to reroll that?
I'm gonna say that's not necessary because the reality is, unless you were to roll a nat 20, there really isn't anything to find.
Okay.
It's very slim chance of picking up anything else other than what you guys have already gotten. So you can, if you want to risk the off chance, but
No,
very
I
slim.
won't.
So after making her circle around the building, what does Amrita do? Her adrenaline and blood is still pumping.
She just kind of just like kicks her feet in the dirt and just like, and by this point she's already has like the eye and everything covered up, and she, instead of going straight back to the tavern, she thinks about going to Buckthorn's herbalist shop.
She thinks about it, or she does?
She does. I'm sorry, I should have said she does. Like, she thinks about it for a moment and decides to go ahead and go do it.
Alrighty. The three of you, it's not exceptionally far to the butcher shop. You can all smell that pigsty, the swine, before you even get there. And Cillian can... Well, Cillian and Acrio have both been there, so you can find it pretty easy. It is very dark, obviously past midnight at this point.
I'll go back to that the rear entrance. See if there's anything there.
The doctor will listen for, any indication of somebody being home or around. Just to
What's your passive perception?
Let me check. 69. No, 15.
15. You're fairly confident the only sounds you hear is like pig that's been awoken by you guys moving by, kind of like rolling over in the mud. Inside the house, from outside, you can't detect anything. Completely silent, completely dark.
And it's like cobblestones, right? Or is it like does the cobblestones fade into muddy ground or something?
Around here, it's cobblestone streets, brick house, single story, and it's like the business and house are all kind of combined into one structure. Okay. So it's like a butcher shop facing, but there's quarters. Cillian would know from Asuriel's observations. The rear entrance, just a small kind of muck room that leads out right to the pigsty on the backside. Acrio, you don't find anything amiss. Just seems like a back door.
Okay.
Can the doctor, he would have, his, does he have a torch or a lantern, I think?
He has a pipe. It's like,
yes.
Inhales and the light just...
Does anybody have a light or like a lantern that he could have nabbed, like on the way from guards or some shit?
I have a lantern.
Yeah. The torch lights are still going at intervals along the street, especially the main streets. There are just torches on various corners that are burning. So there's some ambient light, but it is kind of dark other than where Acrio is kind of directing.
Yeah, but he, okay. Then he would just look at either of the two and just like, would any of you be so inclined to give me one of your lanterns? I want to make sure of something.
Sure. Take a doc.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And he would just take the lantern and just shine into the pigsty, because pigs eat meat very fast. So he just makes sure that, nothing weird has been, put there as food. Consumed. Or any remains. Yeah.
Glancing over the pen where these pigs are kept, you don't see any like bone remnants, skeletons. There's a trough that's probably filled with slop, but it's not currently. Most of them are pretty much asleep. But yeah, you don't see anything like a body has been consumed or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. He just kind of wants to make sure, so you'll just kind of hand it back to Cillian.
Hooded lantern swing. So
okay.
I don't think we're gonna find much here.
The person who runs the butcher, I don't think she is a werewolf. She has an assistant that's a male, suspicious as hell. He's possibly a werewolf.
Do we have a name?
I had a name of the woman.
But not of the male.
Yeah. How long have you lived in this town?
I've been coming here not so long ago, just in time to be in on this whole revolution thing.
Okay.
Like 1 to 2 months.
1 to 2 months. Have you ever been to this butchery?
Not particularly, I must say. Usually,
I maintain a
prefer-
vegan lifestyle.
usually I prefer to cook anything I eat myself. I am not a huntsman, but I can dissect what I eat.
Sure.
So more
Makes
like he
sense.
buys
Listen,
directly from hunters
Yeah.
and does his own meat cleaning, is what it
I
sounds
was
like.
like, do I have to kill a cannibal too now?
I procure my own
reckon
meats.
this might have been an unfortunate wording, but I was talking about game.
Yeah, I didn't say do I have to kill a cannibal
Oh.
out loud.
Just making sure.
Just internal monologue, like, oh god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just everything Acrio is actually a mute. Everything's internal monologue. That you guys are metagaming.
Sure.
He's projecting his thoughts into the word and they manifest as words.
Yes.
Thought bubbles. Thought bubbles.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Like what the fuck is above your head, Acrio? And just like, I don't know what you're talking about. These have been here my entire life.
Good.
Okay.
So, listen, I agree with you. I think a werewolf lives, anyway, has something to do with this place. That's what we found out. I don't think there's going to be much here. There's not going to be letters among werewolves. Oh, it's so fun to be a werewolf. Don't think there's any correspondence or evidence here. I think it was worth a try, but
I just
don't think we
wanted
should
to
enter.
Does
Really don't want to enter.
Is there a reason to this other than obviously breaking into an establishment?
check. No, this shop was broken into by werewolves, it seemed. The woman's still alive that runs it, so she didn't die. And she has an extra assistant that might be a werewolf. I wanted to check here to see if that individual ended up here.
We followed some tracks back from the wall. Up here, and there were some eaten rations, though no eaten pigs. Seemed interesting.
Did any of you see this man by any chance, or has he just disappeared?
Yesterday.
Don't know him. Never even seen him.
If he is still around, there might be a way to tell if he is a werewolf.
Or,
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, should be a fairly easy thing to do. Well, relatively.
Alright, for now, we have nothing else.
So we'll turn back, is what you're saying.
You just go home.
I have an autopsy to conduct, so I will be up fairly late.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Alright.
Such is the life of a doctor.
I'm off to bed.
Sure. You studied for like 8 years, probably. You're two things.
Do you
Like two things.
find
Doctor
yourself
and old.
like just kind of seeing as he's in like his mid-30s, he's just kind of stopping for a moment, just like, do you find yourself particularly funny? Do you think you're a witty person?
Sure, yeah, I am hilarious.
He just kind of, he doesn't think, he just kind of at the response takes out his notebook, writes something down, and then just puts it back. Have a good night. Just leaves.
I diagnosed you with delusions of grandeur.
Alright, Acrio, listen. I am extremely attracted to that man. Don't say anyone else.
The mustache.
It's just everything. Just the dad vibes, you know?
Right. I'm really glad I'm tired right now because I'll forget this in the morning.
You just see Acrio throwing himself off the wall after that conversation.
Alright. Off to bed.
Amrita.
Good night.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Hello.
I'm choking on my apple cider.
So you approach the herbalist shop. It's quiet and undisturbed in the late hours of the night. Go ahead and roll me a d10 plus 5. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, you reach the herbalist shop and seems quiet.
After getting some fresh air and walking a little bit, she feels like her emotions kind of coming to a calm down and a pause, and just kind of like goes up near the door of the herbalist shop and just kind of just looks it over.
I mean, it's a door.
She looks around first before she thinks about going to probably like see if it's probably locked, but just to like check and see if it is or not.
Mm-hmm. It would be locked, yes.
Can she try and unlock it?
If you would like to attempt to pick the lock, yeah, you can make a thieves' tools check with your dexterity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fairly simple exterior door lock. It's not too much. You hear a bit of commotion down the street, and you kind of have to stop and look around. You don't see anyone in the immediate vicinity, so quickly finish your work. You hear the click and slip inside.
Yeah, she makes sure to shut the door behind her, and she just kind of probably walks over to like the counter when they had first like seen Buckthorn, and just like looks around and looks over at the calendar that he had as well.
Mm-hmm. The smell of herbs is intense in this place. The kind of that earthy dirt and vibrant plant smell.
Does it look like that he might have had any kind of decorations, specifically like any picture frames at all?
Roll a d100. You can tell it looks like wow, okay. The till has probably been emptied. Everything's kind of like been closed down. Most of the plants have been covered, and it's like he closed up shop before turning himself in. I will say there is one small like tin type picture on the wall in a circular frame. It's very small, like, you know, that tall, oval, and it does appear to have the image of like a man and a woman in it. There's some level of family resemblance to Buckthorn himself.
She takes it off the wall and everything, and just kind of like finds her fingers like running across the image. I guess you also had a family once as well. Were you trying to protect them too? But it felt like you were failing. And she just inhales, mind flashing, and she just kind of goes over and like tears the calendar off the wall and just like slips it into her bag.
Okay.
And the picture's probably not labeled at all, right? It just has like a picture of like the...
I mean, unless you take it out of the frame, there's no label on it.
Yeah, she kind of like does, and eventually just decides to just put that back and leave it, and just kind of like looks like one more time before just going out of the herbalist shop and just shutting it as if it was never unlocked before.
Yeah, you can lock it fairly easily. It's much easier to relock than it is to pick in the first place. So yeah, returning pretty much everything other than the calendar to the state it had been, you're able to exit.
Are there any like fire or torches nearby as well, like in the town?
Is the herbalism shop is on the western end of town, but it's not far from a main street, and the main streets have torches, like built into the sidewalk that have a element that can be lit afire in the evenings, just oil that burns until it burns out, and then around 2 a.m. or whatever, they're usually all burnt out, but they're still going at this hour.
Yeah, she kind of like takes out the calendar and like looks it over on where he had like it all set up, and then just holds it on the fire. I meant what I said by I hope that your soul rests in peace. Even if we knew each other from a brief time, we were both from the same region. So I only hope that now your soul will be, I don't know, content than what it might have been in your life.
And so you were holding up this paper calendar to be to the flame to let it ignite.
Yep.
It does fairly quickly, burning down. You feel the heat, which you've felt before from the weapons that you've used, your crimson right that close to your hand. Eventually you do have to, set it in something or drop it to the ground to let it burn down completely.
She makes sure it's all just taken care of and towards just no more.
As it's kind of burning to the last bit of ash on the ground, your ears would pick up a bit of movement and voices just being like, "Oi, woman!" Just motioning over. See about 3 or 4 individuals kind of heading your way. 3 men and a woman, all just kind of... They all look very tired, but at the same time excited by the night's events, and like you, they're almost like you can almost smell the adrenaline.
Amrita just kind of like looks over in like confusion and just like stares at these individuals looking at her.
They're not militia. They seem like townsfolk. One of them is like got a pitchfork over his shoulder. One of the guys has a sickle tucked into his belt. He's not carrying it.
She walks a little bit closer, but like keeps like a distance between like all of them, like probably like about 15 or like 10 feet distance. And it's just like, what do you want?
Nothing to worry about. It's just there's talk of werewolves in the town, so we're just checking everyone. I'm sure it'll be fine. Come on. We're just, werewolves, they can only be harmed by silver, so everybody's got to take a little prick of this needle. If it draws blood, then you're fine.
Gotta kill a few people.
I'm actually needed back at the tavern. I just came from the garrison.
Oh, it won't take long. It's just a quick prick. He holds up a needle. Doesn't have to be the hand, it could be arm, anywhere. It's just gotta see the blood.
Better kill those people.
Stop it.
Amrita, you know that due to various things that have happened in your life, your werewolf nature can be suppressed, and you are actively suppressing it now despite the full moon above you behind the clouds, and that with that, the alchemical process that you've been through with the under your mentor's care, if you could call it that, has changed your physiology somewhat, so that there's a chance that you can still be harmed by standard weapons. Steel and iron might be enough. Silver, you still have intense vulnerability, but you can be harmed by other means. It's just your natural bodily genetics, I guess, as they are now, heal much more quickly to anything else. So you would have to try to actively suppress your nature in order to allow this process.
Ooh. And what would that require?
I'm going to say it would be a Constitution save.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just like, yeah, just give me a second. She like how like shows like the bandages and stuff that might have like the stained blood and everything. Bit of a tussle with some dice and stuff lately as well. Am I right?
Sure. Not so worried about Geist in the city. That's been an ongoing problem, but can't have werewolves on top of it.
Yeah, I understand. And
They kind of like form a semicircle in front of you.
is there a way to kind of like have her like eyes closed and like kind of like with the flame in her blood, would she know that it could like help kind of? I guess I wouldn't really do anything.
So your Crimson Rite is like a form of blood magic. It's not like every time you bleed fire or anything like that.
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering like if I were to activate that, would that help?
Set the needle on fire.
That would probably freak them out.
No, not like set the needle. Like I guess that wouldn't really like do anything though if it's like just your blood, but like to have the magic going the same time as like pricking some of my blood.
Probably
I
not.
guess that is okay.
But yes, the woman will step forward with a small needle and just hold out her hand for yours.
Yeah, and Rita will take out her left hand.
Just kind of like look at your two colored eyes, just nod, and do you just want it in like the palm of your hand, or should you be like, be discreet, or do you prefer?
Finger prick is perfectly fine. Pointer finger.
As you will. And she will stab your finger with a needle, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to try to keep your werewolf nature suppressed enough.
Everyone give Amrita your energy.
Good thing I have inspiration if this doesn't go well. Oh, thank God.
They all kind of like lean in to look. It's that moment where time almost slows down and nothing happens at first, just because it's such a small prick, but as they're leaning in, bead of blood, as you're focusing in, starts to form and drip down your finger. You almost like can't breathe as you're so focused on this like instinct to heal from this damage that you know your body doesn't want to accept. But they all watch and look up and, all right, have a good night. Don't mean to be an inconvenience.
No, you too. And stay safe. I mean, last I heard near the garrison earlier, there might have been a couple of, I don't know, something about them being outside the walls. That's what I heard anyway.
We've all heard the rumors. Hopefully nothing's inside, but we're just checking everyone on the streets.
Yeah. Anyway, have a good night. Yeah, Amrita just starts to just kind of like walk away, and like right when she gets around maybe a corner far away from a distance, she just like leans against a wall for a second. She's like, I'm so fucking tired. Yeah, goes back to the tavern.
Everyone eventually finds their way to somewhere they can rest. Eventually, Amrita, that little prick on your finger does seal itself closed, and you can wipe the blood off without, on the bandages, without even the remnant of a scar.
Yeah. She's gonna stay in her room and not come out the rest of the night.
Question.
Those of you who do need it can get a short rest this evening.
Yep.
If you have any hit dice to spend, go ahead.
I needed to get like back over bloodied. Oh thank god.
Yeah, I better do the same. There we go.
Ooh.
That helps me out.
Don't you take like a level of exhaustion if you're still bloodied after it? Yeah.
After rest, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I much needed that. Thank you.
I
There
am
you go.
barely
Now-
above bloody.
Now I'm 2 points away from max, so that's good.
Question, DM.
Mhm.
How readily would Wolfsbane be available if...
I mean, you know a particular family who has some.
True, yeah, I know, but, you know, outside of that, like, is it something people would need to, you know, specifically go foraging for, which I assume it would be, or is it like, is there someone the doctor could get it from inside of the
Here's
city?
a question. How often does the doctor just like stroll the streets out of his house? Does he make his way through the city periodically, or does he stay homebound for the most part?
He would make his way through the city periodically just to see, for one, what is going on, if there are, you know, any people he hasn't seen, and to just, you know, keep an eye out for, you know, anything that he could use potentially.
Then you would probably have noticed there have been a couple of the Vistani who have camped outside the city, kind of hawking a bunch of amulets and wards, and Wolfsbane being one of them.
Does it, okay, knowing Vistani, is it like, this is actual Wolfsbane, or this is Wolfsbane, but it's completely
Good
useless?
question.
Okay, so you
I
would
doubt,
need to...
he probably wouldn't have noticed or taken much of an interest prior to this without knowledge of there being wolves in the gates. So if you were to catch one and kind of examine it, you could probably make a determination, but...
Okay. Is there any, you know, is it with the Vistani, are there any business hours, or is it pretty much, you know, you come in, you say you got the shit, and they're like, sure, we can hook you up?
It's kind of, so these have been a couple guys you've seen throughout the city who just kind of wander around with a tray and just sell anything to anybody who happens to be on the street looking for it. So yeah, hard to say if they were here this night. It's like there's no indication of a route or anything, and plus these have just arrived the other day. And just kind of shown up, so there's no pattern.
Yeah, I'm asking because the doctor is planning to distill the Wolfsbane into something he can inject, you know, to just check if anybody's a werewolf, you know.
I think you might
Black
kill
tar
someone
wolfsbane.
even if they're not.
Yeah, I
Don't
was gonna
worry,
say,
he has
like,
expertise
yeah.
in poisons.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you would have to get a fair amount of it to do that.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll keep that because he would do that the next day. Procure it and begin the distilling process to have a means of, you know, seeing if somebody is a furry.
It's well into the morning, but still very early, when there is a quick knock on your door, Doctor. Probably glancing over if you have a clock in your room or the house where you're staying, just a little past 5 a.m.
All right. Same as always. Who's there?
Dragomir.
He would open the door, but beforehand he will kind of out of the sleeve of his shirt slip out a scalpel to just have that kind of in the palm of his hand if something should be up. But he kind of just opens the door like a smidge to just see if it's the dude and what he wants.
First thing you're hit with is a puff of smoke from his mouth as he's chewing on this cigar that's like down to almost nothing. Got everything ready, come on. And he looks like he hasn't slept at all in the last few hours.
Wait here a moment, I need to get my things and get dressed. As you know, he does everything, you know, he just
You know
shuts
where the
door.
garrison is, you find us. And he just
Right.
marches away.
Before he leaves, the doctor will just kind of look at him. Tell some of your men to procure wolfsbane. I need quite a bit of it.
See what I can do.
Yeah, once he's dressed, he'll just go to the garrison to cut open a dude.
You find there's a room been prepared. It's a small stone room, fairly clean, steel table with the body laid out, still in clothing and everything like that, but drenched in blood, but it's all dried at this point.
Well, I mean, he puts on his operating gear, everything, gloves, mask, and everything, and yeah, then he'll begin the autopsy.
Go ahead and make a medicine check. After you work over the next hour or so, and the hazy sunlight starts to show through the one barred window in this room, you can determine, firstly, that the cause of death was definitely loss of blood. There's no other wounds. There's no other signs of trauma besides 2 small puncture wounds in the jugular. Very precise. Whoever inflicted them knew exactly where to go. There's not much other information you can find other than, as you examine the contents of the lungs and some of the other organs, there is also evidence to confirm your suspicion that he had also been subjected to chloroform.
Okay. Seeing Acrio's remark from yesterday that the werewolf friend of Amrita died, seeing as it's quite rare to have the chance of dissecting such a specimen, he will take his time, make notes, kind of check for any abnormalities that would differ from like a human anatomy or would indicate like strengthened organs or anything of the sort.
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And also, is he trained at all in that, or is it just something he might have picked up a few things just because magic is part of the world?
He would...
As in, is he any proficient?
No, he's not proficient. He's basically looking at it from like a strictly medical standpoint. Like, does he notice anything weird, anything off?
And that's why I need the Arcana check, because it strikes you as odd, given what you've been told. There is zero evidence that this individual is anything other than human upon death, and you would kind of know with what you've kind of picked up knowing about Arcana, the transformation is considered a curse. It's not your area of expertise, but something in life afflicts these individuals and produces this transformation. And as far as you can tell, after this fairly thorough examination, there's no way to determine that this person was a werewolf when they were alive. If indeed they were, like from what you can see, this person was human.
Okay. He will just kind of note that down. After that, yeah, he would probably... he doesn't really overly care about this man, so he'll just kind of look at everybody, just... do you need me to put the organs back, or can you just burn them or anything? I don't care either way. It's just more
not really
expensive.
What we do. Just how about we take any wolfsbane that we procure off of your bill?
That does sound like a fair trade. And yeah, you'll just begin to put the organs back and then sew them up.
As you're doing that, there's another bell. This one is much less of an alarm bell, but a distant, larger, almost gong-like chiming, and everyone is awoken in the tavern, the Frowning's Wrath, the cathedral bell being rung, this being Sunday morning, effectively the day of church services.
Julie's getting tired of being woken up by bells when she should be fucking sleeping.
Yeah, Amrita just like stays in bed and just like hears it and just rolls back over.
She'll go to the door again because she has no idea what's going on, but she's like, oh, is there another emergency?
It's like a cat screaming.
She'll pick
Anne would probably just be like, it's the church bell. You can see she and Amel are dressed for the day in a little bit more expensive attire, a little more showy, as it looks like they're ready to leave.
Oh, okay. Are we all supposed to go?
Well, I mean, it's up to your discretion, I guess.
So like, okay, and she follows them.
And they just kind of like look at each other like, oh yeah, sure, yes, you are welcome to go with us.
I don't know what's going on, but I guess I'm doing this.
Hey, you want to get dressed? The night attire is maybe not the most. We can wait.
I'll be quick. Yeah, she'll go out, and it doesn't take long for her to come back down.
Lorelei, Acrio, and Cillian, what are you guys? Heading back to bed, or gonna make the service?
Lorelei, she made another mark for you, and not a full name, but just like a tally mark. She has like a accruing tally of names. Well, people, I suppose, that die.
Where at?
It's on her like it's on her thigh, so it's like not immediately visible. And it's getting increasingly large, and she just kind of, when she hears the bell, she rolls over back in bed.
You would notice the hair from that bracelet, that braided bracelet that's going up your arm. The stitches are starting to turn like gray. The hair is graying as the wounds have healed over time.
Kind of sighs in relief, like, I won't have to hide those for much longer. Pull blanket over her head.
Dressed in his
Does
Sunday
she
best.
actively?
Oh, sorry.
Real quick, does
Hello?
Lorelei actively recall that she had told Valentin that she was going to make the services the next day?
She does, and as
She's
she
just
rolls over,
actively
she
ignoring
like,
it?
fuck! And then she just pushes the blanket off her, and she's like, fine. I hate obligations. And then she will get ready and go.
Cillian, dressed in Sunday best.
Yeah, definitely. He just flings the door open. We're going to church.
Would have said this.
Oh no, I don't have a nice outfit. I just look like this.
I mean,
Cyril just has the
Gillian's
one.
outfit isn't technically nice,
It's just different.
but it's more appropriate than what he's been wearing.
It's different. I only have this
Yeah.
clothing that I'm wearing right now. All I have is this.
Yeah,
Going to
it's
church.
a black dress, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, simple
Torn up
and,
to fuck,
and very torn up. Yes, from living in the woods for a number of years with it, as well as her dark blue cloak. Acrio, it is the Sunday morning, cathedral bells ringing, calling everyone to the traditional service. You would probably be the most aware of what occurs. Cillian's probably been to church a few times, but most of his time being traveling and outside of cities, Vistani are not usually seen in the chapels. Primarily, it's just a community gathering. There will be priests who like offer blessings. There will be hymns sung in angelic. Whether or not you understand what it is, doesn't matter. They've got a hymnal, and you just kind of like fake it as you sing along with it.
It's like singing in
but
Latin.
it's
I know that
primarily
feeling, yeah.
time of community going together, which in my version of this world, angelic is just Latin. So
Yes!
it's just straight
Yes! Yes!
Latin is
Fair
the
enough.
angelic tongue. So yeah, and of course it's not a requirement. Many people who just don't go or don't go consistently, but more community-minded people are the ones who like, you know, come together for this event to kind of socialize with neighbors when they don't have to work. No shops or anything are open this day, so
What is
cattle
this,
ranchers and stuff will have
Christianity?
only skeleton kind of crew, not literal skeleton, but figurative skeleton crew watching their
Yeah.
herds and that sort of thing.
When you have to say precise that it's not an actual skeleton.
Innistrad is probably a setting where you have to specify.
Like Lorelei wouldn't have been to church since she was a kid. Like, with her parents. So this is
Mhm.
weird.
Just
Lorelei
the
probably
Cyril
recalls
bells.
like the simple floral print dresses that her mom had sewn for her, that were kind of reserved for Sundays, kind of kept
The nice,
aside.
the nice stuff.
Mhm.
Really itchy.
I need to talk to somebody at the church. Why are we going to the church?
Because it's a Sunday service.
In character, why are we going to the church? Because I'm guessing Lorelei doesn't talk like that.
Well, in character, yeah, she had promised the brother Valentin that she would be there. He had just been like, "Oh yeah, tomorrow's Sunday and
Yeah, he did ask.
tomorrow's the
Laura.
service."
Yeah.
So, you
It
know,
was like, you're coming in to church, right?
I
Lorelei?
really want to go.
I don't want to go, but I have to.
Just
Okay.
kind
I
of
do really
like
wanna go.
shrugs.
I'll make it fun. There could be an angel there, which I've never seen in my life other than flying over, so that's sort of why I'm interested.
Oh, she left already.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This isn't going to be fun.
I'm sure you'll find
Alright.
a way.
All right, I'm a lot of things. I won't interrupt the church, however, it's just to make it funny.
Good.
Which does say a lot.
I'll still have the X sign on lock, just in case.
Sure, do that.
Or clock you over the back of the head, whichever's quicker.
Would Acrio go in like full Cathar regalia, or just his civilian clothes?
How suspicious? Has anyone at the church been suspicious? Because Acrio specifically told those Cathars to not fuck up.
Depends on what you consider suspicious, I guess.
Like, why was there not a Cathar? Never mind. I'll be in my full regalia.
So, if Acrio had been considering the night before and this morning, the Cathars were primarily posted outside the garrison with the intention of stopping anyone from getting in. And if you would have asked them, nobody saw anyone suspicious going in or out. With the evidence that it could have been a vampire attack, you know that they have means of being exceptionally silent. Some of them can change shape into other creatures, means of becoming invisible depending on which bloodline you're talking about. So you could easily say, oh, these Cathars fucked up, but also it could have just, like, it's a vampire.
Yeah. I guess I'm here right now, but I'll leave it to somebody else to talk.
Sure.
Right now.
He looks like a dad at like Christmas, like falling asleep in his chair. It's like, I'm not sleeping.
I mean, he's seen this service probably dozens and dozens of times. So.
She'll probably pokes him from time to time to make sure he's not actually sleeping.
But Acrio
Stop
himself
breathing.
does
He's
seem
dead.
fairly exhausted. He got in a few hours of sleep, but probably he had most of you had already been asleep for a while, and then woken up and then back. He's had the least of anyone, and it shows. The bags under his eyes are almost as bad as Lorelei's.
Ooh,
But
Almost.
cooler.
Whoa!
that's bad.
Long lost brother.
Yeah. I sort of loop my hand through Asuriel's and onto the church. I just tell the story about how I was at church service one time, and the guy didn't even notice that I kept adding things on top of his head and stuff. Just something stupid.
She looks like fascinated, and also like at the end she's like, but why though?
Well, he didn't notice, did he?
Guess not.
The point being, we're probably going to enter something boring. Keep yourself occupied by any means necessary.
Okay. She's like clueless, but yay, we're going along with it, like she's been doing for the past 2 weeks.
You all cross the courtyard with the large angelic statue and the pool around it, up the hill to the cathedral. Entering, you hear the large organ being played. Across the way you can see Valentin sitting there, playing the music himself. Several priests kind of milling about. Most people come in just kind of like sitting in the pews, some lighting candles at the front, the light shining through the stained glass with the angelic wings kind of worked into it, casting like a golden hue throughout the sanctuary.
Betty, gonna do whatever the fuck everyone else is doing.
Which is various different things. A lot of people just kind of like sit and, take up a pew.
There's not like a ritual or something? Not people are washing their hands or whatever, or doing something. Striking
There would be a
pose.
holy water. Probably as you enter, there would be a priest with holy water who would like dip his fingers in it and kind of like do the symbol of Avacyn on your forehead real quick with the holy water as you move through. After that, you're kind of left to your own devices, whatever you would like to do until like the actual service begins. Just listen to the music. You can pray, light candles for memoriams or whatever you would like.
Who's here right now?
Cillian, Lorelei, and Asuriel. Cillian's the only one who's dressed up for this event. Everyone else is just in what they were wearing yesterday.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll actually go towards the candles and just silently light one. Well remembered, that's for sure. Hope you're sleeping. Have a good one. Place it down.
As you say that, you kind of feel Rygan's presence kind of over your shoulder. Sorry about last night. I was far away. I don't even know why.
Is that alright? Noticed. Listen, Reich. Did that woman not trust you? And why weren't you there last night?
Something about this place. Maybe the city. It was like I was being pushed out. Or kept
Is it
in.
uncomfortable?
It's weird. I've always been right next to you. Or in the vicinity, you know. We get into what we do. It's like I had no anchor.
Should I sleep outside of the city? That'd make you more restful.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I think
Ours has
there's
always
just
been
a
a
lot
wandering
here.
spirit that could be. It is a lot.
Yes. A lot of death. Fucking screaming all the time. It sucks here. But, you know, this is actually decent. I'll see a
I
lot
never
here.
cared for him. But maybe that's just me.
It's probably just you. Never cared for anyone. Listen. I've always been a smart person, and I'm realizing now that we're encroaching on a probable turf war between vampires and werewolves. Should I just detach? Because I know I don't have a lot longer, but I do want to do some more stuff.
Honestly, might be best.
I like these people, though. I do. It's maybe because I'm not my normal self that you're having trouble anchoring yourself to me. But I do sort of want to see where it goes. And I sort of promised Lorelei stuff, and normally I don't care about that shit, but there's something about her that makes me honest, and I hate it.
That's a weird look for you.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I'm glad you're here now.
Glad
Stay
to be
for a
back.
while. It's a mess, that's for sure. And I'll go sit on a pew behind a man with a hat.
There are several.
He's gonna do it again.
Oh fuck. Yeah, Lorelei's gonna go sit down and like she has her arms like folded like in quite a odd like ritualistic manner where she's holding onto both of her forearms incredibly tightly, and she's just 1,000-yard stare as she sits in a pew. Like, she doesn't look present right now.
She was probably getting a girl's like, what are you doing?
She doesn't answer.
Okay. Just backs off. Goes to find someone else.
Pokes Acrio on her way just to make sure he's still awake.
Yep. He was like,
Interesting.
I think he fell asleep.
Eventually, some of the moon sages and the priestesses kind of direct everyone to certain hymns in the hymnals, leading everyone through the angelic psalms, as it were. There's a almost like serenity in the cathedral. Not something Asuriel has ever really experienced before that she recalls. In the time of her memory, it's mostly been rocky roads, murders in cities, undead battles, a lot of pain in her physical being, and something about being in this place. Everything is calm, like nothing can get to you here.
She'll probably take a seat and close her eyes for a while. Just to take in the feeling.
Is Cillian attempting to put random objects on this individual's hat? Make a sleight of hand check.
Anything you can find.
Lorelei's too dissociated to give him this hand signal to stop.
Oh wait, normal.
I trusted you, Lorelei. Throughout the entire service, not a single person realizes it. It's almost like a street magician who can like use that kind of like art of distraction. If anyone happens to notice, he's like sneezes or something, and it's just like, oh, just random objects. And this guy's fairly still. His tricorn hat curled up at the edges. It actually does catch various items from falling out.
Oh, it's like a bowl. Yeah.
Buckaroo.
Yeah, the brim of the hat being curled up, you can get several different things, coppers and
He's
cornucopia
very
of shenanigans.
proud of a burning candle. He picks it up almost immediately, but he does leave it on there for a bit too long.
Enough for it to count.
As Sarah probably opens her eyes after a while and just sees it, continues watching, so paying attention.
The bishop kind of steps out on the balcony, and it's not exactly a sermon, but gives a speech about the troubles plaguing the town, the cult that had been here, how the community needs to come together and assist each other, keep an eye on everything. And there's almost kind of like a promotion of paranoia, it almost seems like, from this bishop, of just being like, everybody needs to join together and also don't trust your neighbors. Sort of juxtaposition, which is a little concerning. But eventually he kind of like finishes their prayers, and everyone's kind of left to mill about, and most of the people stay and, chat and linger in this space, both the sanctuary and the larger atriums of the cathedral, speaking with priests. Brother Valentin would finish his tunes on the pipe organ and eventually make his way over to Acrio and Lorelei, who's just kind of like staring off at nothing.
Yeah, she's staying there dissociated for a while.
It looks a bit concerned, wringing his hands. I heard about what happened last night. They told me this morning. Cillian and Asuriel would be close enough that you can also see and hear him approach.
Listen in for now.
Yeah, kind of hearing Brother Valentin, Lorelei like sort of boots back up and lets her arms go. Sorry, what did you say?
Looks around. Ewan, I heard about it this morning.
Indeed. Awful business. It seems we're not as close to solving this as thought we were.
I'm not entirely sure what to say. In a way, I blame myself.
I look closer.
But I couldn't have. No one could have known that there shouldn't be vampires here in town. I suppose it's not unheard of, though.
It's Stensia. It's not as surprising as werewolves being in the town.
We'll all have to be on the lookout. If ever we can get rid of them, push them further out, I think we best.
I agree. Could you maybe tell what happened?
Well, I don't know what Acrio has told you. He asked me to research some sort of suppressant if Ewan was in fact a well, what Acrio believed him to be, would prevent anything from going wrong, and guards and the Cathars there having to be subjected to that. So I did, and made my way. Spoke with him briefly. He seemed eager to accept. I don't think he was thrilled about his situation. I didn't want to linger very long. It seemed the Cathars and the Dragomir's men could likely handle one night.
Did you see anything
business
out of the ordinary on your way, there or back? Because I think based on the time he died, it wouldn't have been long after you were there.
Oh my. I did see Mr. Doyle. You don't see him on the streets very often. He seemed out of it. That was odd.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Didn't we hear his
Thanks,
name
brother.
before?
I implore you all to take the day, rest up, and try to. Well, I know you're not from here, Vistani. Some of you moving on, but there are roots to be put down here. This is a good town, despite everything. The people need folks like you. If even for a short time, I suppose.
You really believe that, don't you? That this is a good town?
I would like to.
It's commendable. Not much
Or-
people have that much faith in other people.
You must understand, in Stensia, especially, the town where you were born and raised and work is all you have. You can't just cross the mountains. You can't just go to Thraben. You can't even going elsewhere in this province is no easy task. This is what people have, and I think it's best to make the best of it.
Sure you understand. I don't understand that particular
do.
notion
I do.
being.
But I'm sure
It's
you
commendable,
understand
though. I respect it.
I'm sure you understand the hazards of the road, if nothing else. Lives are lost out there all the time. Here, we try to prevent that as long as possible.
If the town needs people like
I'm
us, why
thinking,
don't you be people like us?
I've been trying. I do what I can. Don't misunderstand me. I mean, people willing to do something. Not everyone is proficient as the Cathars with blade and magics and angelic wards. Sometimes it's just a bit of, I don't just say leadership, but a nudge in the right direction. Standing up for something, even when it's difficult.
I think that's the problem. I don't think people who do something are willing to stay. It's always something
Maybe that is a
bigger.
problem. You may very well be right.
As much as I would
I've
love
enjoyed
to,
my time here, though.
as much as I would love to stay here, I couldn't. I just couldn't. My work's not done yet.
I see.
And I'm supposed to be on the road. I'm sorry, friend.
I respect your lifestyle.
Whatever the case, there are a lot of vampires and a lot of werewolves under this right now. This is really, really bad. I don't know what to do, but I just run out of options here.
Brother, do you believe the council or whatever is running the town at this particular moment to be just and do you think there could be moles in there or people who don't do things for the right reasons? Or do you trust them?
Recently, it's been hard to know who to trust. I don't want to say more, but I'm not entirely sure.
How are they going to decide who's going to lead Corsiva now? In this power vacuum, I guess. How are they going to establish that?
The elders of the town council will convene. Likely, someone from there have to go through the church, of course, to get approval, but it's more formality than anything else.
Don't make it, Doyle. Do anything you can.
I'm sorry, what now?
If it would be Doyle, I think he might have interest, even though he's secluded. Do everything in your power to make it not him.
I put in a bad word, I suppose.
Well, actually, no. Forget I said that, but I trust you, and I trust your judgment. Don't trust him. That's all I want to say. Don't speak on me.
Noted.
Never mind.
Are you able to put your own name forward, Brother Valentin? Because if this town is to be at all nurturing this want to help other people, the only good way to do that is to lead by example. And I see no better example than someone who is clearly enthusiastic about it.
Oh, thank you. You flatter me. It is, I suppose, possible. I'm not very ranking within the church, and I don't think Kent likes me all that much. Personal
Don't lose
reasons,
sleep over that.
I assure you. It's not unheard of for priests to serve as burgomasters for a time. Honestly, I hadn't really considered it.
I think you should.
You'd have my vote.
You're nice.
Perhaps I shall. I want to speak with a few other people. I'm sorry about everything we've dragged you into. Everything last night is... Hopefully things get better. People will make things better after this. We've got nowhere to go but up.
We can only hope.
Asuriel's like about to open her mouth to ask about that place Brook she heard about a few days ago, but shuts her mouth again.
He will kind of like note you're about to say something, but I'm sorry. Excuse me. And move on to speaking with some other townsfolk.
As soon as he leaves, Lorelei's like, I fucking knew it.
What did I miss?
You're right there, big man.
I'm
He dropped the name
alright.
Doyle. He saw him outside.
Doyle.
What pizza?
Who's Doyle?
Vampire Doyle.
The
Isn't that
person
how
who
you
Cormac
died?
was in service to.
So we've got a possible killer.
We have a very possible suspect.
What are we gonna do about the werewolves?
As you say that, Acrio, you happen to glance over, and across the cathedral you see Natalia sitting in one of the pews.
Talia's the one who runs the butchery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not with her assistant.
No.
I see. All right.
We lend you our power.
Avacyn, give me
Just
strength.
get some coffee.
Brew the coffee in the holy water. Avacyn will give you strength that way.
Over to Natalie we go.
She will glance up at you. I have your rations whenever you're ready to leave.
I need to speak in private.
What about?
I think you want it to be a public thing, so it'll be a private conversation, but quite an important one.
Well, I can't deny the Cathars of the church.
Thank you. Is Brother Valentin here?
Yeah, he's just left you, but he's still in the sanctuary.
Okay. We'll be talking in private in somebody's office. Just once you're done, we'll go.
I was about to leave, but we can speak.
All right, then follow me.
Kind of glances around at anyone who might be watching or follow. Is everyone joining Acrio, or just gonna
He's
make
gonna
it a super
motion for them
private?
No, he's gonna motion for them to come, and he's gonna motion to Brother Valentin that he's going to their office.
We'd be like, yes,
Thanks.
it's fine.
Could Asuriel have just picked up a sanctuary cat on the way? Just one of the church cats?
Salty.
Don't think there are church cats, so no.
I mean, there's a card that's just straight up
pushes up
sanctuary
glasses. Actually,
Yeah, but that's a Thraben thing.
Fluff looks like perturbed by that. He's
I
like,
mean,
"Ugh."
if you wanna go out to the graph
Hunting a
and
cat.
pet Grim, go for it. But
Yeah, that's kind of an awkward thing to be like, yo.
So immediately, like,
before
beelines
coming
it
in.
out of the church and into the graph to pet dog.
Look, who wouldn't?
Okay, I got a bit of energy. I don't know about my brain, but okay. Drag her into the back room.
Yeah, I'll follow.
I'll motion for everybody to come with me. Once I'll motion for her to go in, then everybody else, then I'll go in, close the door behind me. All right, why don't you take a seat? Anywhere.
She
Kinda
does.
To catch a
motion-
predator.
Motion to a seat, one of the two seats in front of Brother Valentin's desk.
Mhm.
So, have you had any break-ins recently? Unexpected, tore up the place, anything similar to that?
No, nothing like that.
I see. Your assistant, how long's he worked with you?
Ludo?
Hmm.
For as long as I have, well, I've known him most of his life. He, after I became apprenticed to the old butcher. He helped me, and then now he is my apprentice.
I see. Do you have any idea why you're sitting in front of Cathar in front of a church right now? Or in a private room within the Church of Avacyn right now?
I would very much
Any.
like to.
Alright. You or your pal, apprentice, is likely a werewolf. I want to know which one of you it is. I want you to be truthful and honest with me right now. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly and people are going to start being hunted down.
No, if you
I
like.
need everyone to make an insight check.
Gladly.
Hmm.
Don't forget,
Acrio
Acrio,
with
I gave you those
disadvantage.
silver manacles.
But you do also have disadvantage.
I know, I do.
Is Asuriel there? I thought she went to pet the
Yes!
doggy.
I don't know. She came along. She came
Ah!
along.
Okay.
I am looking.
What the fuck?
Not great, but
Cillian and Lorelei, you can both see as she's resting her hands on the arms of the chair that her hands just begin to grip into the wood. Werewolves, you say?
Ever heard of them? Ever see one?
I mean, who hasn't heard of werewolves? But not in
Instanzia.
Stenzia.
My point exactly. Instanzia,
They
right?
would be hunted by worse than you.
They would. And they are. Just so happens that one turned themselves in, ended up in the prison, got drained by a blood-sucking scum of a vampire. Now, I need accounts of the werewolves roaming around town before I go knocking on a vampire's door so I can chop its head off. Just because I'm trying to cover all my bases right now.
Cillian and Lorelei would both realize she doesn't really flinch or react to that revelation, just kind of takes it in stride. Why would you need the werewolves if you were going after a vampire? Surely you don't want their help. And I suspect those of the church have no intention of helping them either, even if you do seek a vampire's head.
This seems like negotiations, but what I'm saying is you're going to tell me which of you is a werewolf, and you're going to help me kill this vampire, or I'm going to put you in silver shackles, and I'm going to have you executed by the church. You and your friend.
Make an intimidation check, and I'm going to say it would have been an advantage, but it will be canceled out. So just a straight intimidation roll.
Ugh. Not great rolls.
Oof.
I don't know why you think I have any information to give. If I am to be shackled and executed, so be it. Do it.
Lorelei like steps forward and kind of just puts her hand on like Acrio's arm, like, with all due respect, ma'am, we know that there is more than one werewolf within the walls of Corsiva. We know there are at least 3. If you've done nothing wrong, I don't think we would have any reason to harm you.
Then I have done nothing wrong.
Then help us.
Can I go now? Do what?
Clearly the mention of werewolves made you tense up a little bit.
These are tense times.
The vampires were no secret to you.
This is Stinzia, after all.
I will just be honest,
just
I don't
hope-
want to see anyone else get hurt here. I would rather not have anyone executed unless they are the direct cause of the murders here. And so far the people that we have murdered are Cormac and Buckthorn. And we know Buckthorn was killed by a vampire. And Cormac was most likely killed by a werewolf.
Someone you know.
Make another
pretend
insight
like-
check. Everyone can do that.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, 14.
Acrio and Asuriel both, when you say that Cormac was killed probably by a werewolf, she's kind of, you see a bit of a frown on her face, a scowl almost. It's the only reaction she gives.
You don't have any idea who killed him?
None whatsoever.
You know it won't stop here. You know what we're saying is true. Of course you're lying. I would be too in your situation. I don't know your exact situation. I will give you that. Don't know if you are, or your friend is, or you just know him. We know you're involved. Your only chance to come out on top here is to help us. We don't want vampires in power, and I know you don't too. I know it. I see the hatred in your eyes. Just help us. Please.
Make a persuasion check.
I'll use my inspiration.
Finally! Inspiration pays off for something!
Takes a moment after your words sink in. There's kind of a silence in the room as all of the eyes are on this woman, and she can't look at any of you before she deflates. We came from Presh, the city here in Stinzia. First it was me, then I found Ludo. The vampires are bad. We had to escape. We tried to make it to Kessig. This is as far as we got. Something about this city. There were no vampires. Maybe something worse, I don't know. We just wanted to find a place to survive. Now it looks like that's not possible. I don't know what you want from me.
We're just trying to get a picture. We've been
Yo.
fumbling around in the dark for a bit. But it's becoming sharper and sharper. And I think you're close to a commotion.
I don't know what
People of other
happened
blood.
to Kiomek, but I can tell you it wasn't Ewan. He was with us that night. We were outside the walls as always.
Do I believe her?
He make an insight check.
Sure.
Although
as
I will
well?
say
Do I-
I do, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
if Cillian does.
Sure. She doesn't seem to be as dodgy anymore.
Mhm.
A little more straightforward. As I said, she kind of deflated and is just like speaking.
If you are being truthful and you haven't hurt anybody, then you have my word, I will help protect you. You will be
Acrio?
safe.
From vampires.
Yes. Because I think I know who killed Ewan. I helped
I think
overthrow
we all-
Yond.
That has made things very wonderful for us here. Thank you. You can hear her just like dripping with sarcasm.
Yeah, case in point. Look, I can help you. I
Can you
promise.
get us out of this city?
I don't see why not. Lorelei looks at
Might be
Acrio.
able to.
And I mean, stupid to even ask. Past the Summerwald, past the Gaia Reach, into Kessig.
We could make arrangements, probably. I have friends who like to travel.
I
I
was just
think we
about
can
to
get you
ask.
somewhere.
Do you know where those Vistani are headed next, Cillian? That might be our best bet.
Anywhere. I can convince them to go to Gothic, don't worry. If Acrio, are you alright with this? They were outside the wall. She wasn't lying about that. She's just trying to survive.
Okay. I know. Somebody ripped the throat out of Cormac because they knew they'd be starting something. I still need to know who did that. Is it a vampire playing a game, trying to get the church hounds to hunt down every last werewolf in this town? I don't know.
I was about to ask the same thing.
Even if we know who killed Ewan, we have no idea who killed Cormac. There's no reason for... If the blood on the wall makes any sense, or it's just a shitty little game, then...
I wouldn't put it past vampires to play a game, if I'm quite honest with you. This seems like a perfect setup that a vampire would absolutely come up with.
Mm-hmm. And show them to be strong in order to gain power. I think it's very likely.
I'm almost surprised the vampires didn't just rip out his throat in his shop. Ewan's, I mean. Why wouldn't they? Games
They're
aside,
stacked.
they're more public here than you think.
But the fact remains in this, that you, Ludo and Ewan, have nothing to do with this. That you were innocent
Don't
in
know
this.
that.
That would
They were
be
outside the walls. Amrita and I have seen tracks. I have no reason to disbelieve her.
I appreciate that.
Why would a vampire chloroform a guard?
Sure. Don't have the complete picture, but you saw the markings too. They went over the wall. That's what we pulled
That
back to the
I
butcher shops.
suppose I should say that that was me. I wanted to check on you, and
Did
but
you see it happen?
he was long gone by the time I arrived. So I went over the wall, met up with Ludo, and we spent our night out there, away from people. We're not here to kill anyone.
I believe you.
Okay.
I do.
As much as I'd like to know that you're spending your time outside the wall, why were there tracks inside the town? You're
It was
obviously
late.
you're coming back into town. I can't trust that you forget one day, or you get caught up, or something happens. You ripped your back door open and left tracks as you ran outside of town. Took rations. Why? You were in town in your werewolf form, traveled a distance, and then jumped the wall. You're not leaving town every day as much as you say you are.
That was Ludo. I've tried to tell him to be more careful, but he lets his instincts get ahead of him. That's why we need to leave. That is why we want to make it to Kessig. Join the Krallenhood, maybe. Stay outside of the villages. I prefer my business, but I can sacrifice it for my life. It's not a hard exchange.
Okay.
Here's the deal. You don't know any other werewolves here, do you?
It's just the two of us. Ewan didn't even know. He always rejected the transformation. He never remembered a thing in the morning.
All right, listen to me. You're gonna go back to your shop. If you try to run, we will come after you, and we will kill you. Please keep your ear to the ground. Listen if there's any information that comes through. I know it's not really an underworld you're a part of, but please help us figure anything out, and I promise I will do everything in my power to help you.
Can I have you use the ability from the feat that you had picked up? I forget exactly what role that is,
Oh, sure.
but I'm going to have you use that for this,
persuasion to
whichever one it
insight.
is.
Yeah, persuasion to insight, to her insight.
Okay. So I'll roll behind the scenes for her, but you say you can talk to the other Vistani, that they may head to Kessig.
For sure. Trust me, they've done this before.
I'm not sure I can trust you, but I don't think I have another option. Just
Well, aren't we the
let us
wonderful
know when they are
agreement
leaving. We'll be waiting.
then?
I'll make sure Ludo is on hand as well.
The last one was tonight, right? You're not gonna turn?
No, the moon has cycled through. We have time again.
Anything else, Acrio?
Try not to get your throat torn out by a vampire.
That would be preferable to all of us.
Get out of the office. Go
Stan
home.
and kind of like adjust her dress, kind of look the rest of you over. I hope I can trust you. And then she leaves.
After she's gone, Lorelei like leans against the wall, like.
Asuriel looks over to Lorelei and Cillian. Is this normal usually?
No.
Okay.
In what world is that normal?
I don't know.
Yeah. Not
Acrio,
really,
you
but
didn't
I've
have to
been
do
in similar situations.
Acrio,
Yeah,
thank you.
Acrio.
That was hinging on your fiat, really. You could have thrown that all away with a word, and you didn't. Thank you.
Still debating. Don't thank me yet.
Brother Valentin said he saw Doyle heading towards, walking around.
So, right, are we killing him? Because I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. I don't think that's an option right now.
Maybe not right now.
But maybe we could incite a town of people with pitchforks. You know, be like, oh, there's a
No.
vampire in your midst. Maybe we could chase him out of town.
That's not how that works.
I don't
Just see
know.
corpses flying everywhere.
Shut up.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
you don't.
There's got to be something we can do.
If a vampire is killing people because of
They said they were escaping the vampires, right? What if?
who killed Cormac, don't give a shit about Ewan. I need to know who killed the human.
I still think that vampires have started this whole thing. Maybe the Doyles have a dog. Do we know that?
I don't know.
Very possible, but I mean, a dog can be procured from anywhere.
Exactly. But the thing is, if the Doyles have a dog, then probably. What I'm saying is, I think that might have been what happened.
Where's the Doyle's manor?
If we're going there, I need a lot of time to prepare.
If we're going there, we need a lot of time.
A day of time.
Because we cannot be honest with this man.
If we're going there, we need to be on full horses and wagons, full energy. We can't be going into this weakened like we are.
Yes, we're gonna go take a long nap. We're gonna feel good, then we're gonna go talk to a vampire, possibly beat the ever-living shit out of them. And get the ever-living shit beat out of us.
Ever-shitting love.
Ever-shitting love beat out of us, too.
We asked maybe some of the Cathars to help us?
No.
Alright.
Why not?
Cathars aren't... They handle the little stuff. They're not...
Acrio would probably know that, in general, interfering with vampire business in Stinsia is basically like, oh, do you want to start a war or not?
Yep.
So his mentality would probably be along the lines of, if you mount up a force of Cathars and go barging into someone's estate, you're poking a hornet's nest. It's not like you squash the one and call it a day. There will be repercussions if you don't handle it tactfully.
Yep, that's why I'm going in and talking.
And there's one thing. Magda was scared shitless that he was looking in when we were talking. I'm sure he has eyes everywhere, and I'm sure he knows we're close. If we come
He
in,
might even know we're
talk to
coming.
him. Exactly. Plus, he has people in the guard. We can't warn them. The only person I would trust to warn is maybe Valentin, but even that doesn't seem of much use. I do really want to talk to him, but I'd have to prepare something, a reason for why we're getting so close and we're trying to reach him, and I don't have that right now.
What about those Paintings?
It's an angle, but like I said, he's been looking at us. I know that for certain. I know he knows at least that we're getting close. I'd have to make a story out of that. It's possible. I know there is one because there always is. But I'll need that day.
The day it is then.
Presumably, you all eventually make your way back to the rooms at the Frowning's Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Amrita still just curled up in bed?
Yeah, by this point, she's just, still kind of just like laying in bed, but she like sits up for a moment, but doesn't really move or like just say anything, and just is there, just kind of like dazing out, but like looks out the window to see all the people going by and just kind of like inhales.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't leave her room.
Eventually, you would catch sight of the rest of the party, kind of slowly making their way back. Anne and Amel have already made their way back, but being as it's Sunday, the tavern is not exactly open. Obviously, people come in and out for rooms if they need them, but the tavern part of it is not open for the day.
Yeah, she acknowledges that she sees them out the window, but just makes sure that her bedroom door is locked and just goes back to laying down in the bed.
The doctor, after concluding his autopsy, I'm assuming makes a report to the Dragomir, or does he keep any information secret? What's his modus operandi?
I mean, he would, tell, the regular stuff that would belong in an autopsy like this. The research he conducted is just for himself, so he'll just keep that for himself. Seeing as they do seem to deal with werewolves, and he has that angle of distilling the wolfsbane, he would probably tell the guard about the suspicion that the apprentice or whatever of the butcher might be a werewolf, and he would tell them like, hey, if you can, like, if you see him, just fucking incarcerate him. I'll prepare something. If he's a werewolf, if he is, we can go from there. That's basically him.
They would probably ask what caused those suspicions.
He would probably just pretty much tell them that what he knows, what Acrio and Cillian relate to him. But he also says like he only knows this from them. That's why he's like, bring him in. We can figure out if he's one. If not, then he's free to go. But if he is, then we do something about it.
Make a perception check real quick.
Sure.
Fuck, man.
Hey, nobody told the doctor.
No, it's good. It's perfect, man.
I
Nice.
know, but she was just like, I don't think I trust you with that one. Fucked. Shit.
Perception, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. One of the guards leans over to Dragomir, whispering, but loud enough that you can pick it up, saying, Udo's one of the boys we had going in and out of the city last couple nights.
Ludo. Okay.
The butcher's assistant.
Is there any response from the captain? Or is he like
drumming his fingers on the desk?
Then you just kind of, is there something the matter?
We'll keep it in mind.
You do whatever you want, but From what I understand, people are dying here, so wouldn't it be in your best interest to deal with this in a timely manner? Or am I wrong?
Grabs a cigar, strikes a match. You're not wrong. Thanks for your assistance. We'll get you the wolfsbane.
Okay, does he seem like he'll, follow through with, if he can apprehend this individual, he'll do it? Or is he like, we'll keep it in mind, but it's like, nah.
He doesn't seem like opposed to the idea. He seems more opposed to being told what to do.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Like he's gonna keep it in mind, but not because you said to.
Okay. And yeah, he would probably just give them his address to, get the wolfsbane to him when they have acquired it. And after that, the puncture wounds real quick. And the dude was trained with the doctor's experience and kind of past encounters. Does it seem like an actual vampire, or does it seem like somebody just kind of set it up to look like that?
It could go either way, theoretically. I think you probably wouldn't know for sure if vampires drink werewolf blood necessarily. Whether or not they do is kind of up in the air. It's definitely odd that it doesn't appear that he was drank from, but maybe that's just because the suspicion he was a werewolf.
Okay. Yeah, afterwards, once that has been taken care of, he would probably pay a visit to Amrita.
Yeah, like I said, she hasn't been coming out of like the room all day and stuff. So like when Lorelei and them got back, and like whenever the doctor shows up there, like she wouldn't probably be in the vicinity like the others.
As the doctor packs up his autopsy gear, the apron, gloves, mask, everything that will need to be sterilized, putting that in its own bag and tucking that within his medical supplies, making his way to the Frowning's Wrath, where he knows Amrita has been staying for the past while. And entering in, you find about this time as everyone else is either making their way upstairs or making preparations kind of in the main rooms. You don't catch sight of Amrita, and everything is like strangely quiet after what appeared to be a vampiric attack, werewolves potentially being in the city, whether or not townsfolk really know that or it's just rumors. Everything is like a spring that's been coiled tightly. Everything is tense and quiet. And that's where we're going to drop the curtain on this week's session.
Great to see. Good.
No!
That's what,
Ben, I'm gonna kill you.
Like a TV
Don't
show.
worry,
No,
guys.
it's perfect.
We're hunting werewolves.
No, that's what happened in a TV show. It's like tension moment and then resolve and then tension back.